I took it there and I had my stop at the SMT high, and then it came up into this inverse fair value gap and dumped. All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel where I'm just documenting my trading journey, and if this is the first time you're watching a video from me, thank you so much for giving me your time. Like I said, I am literally just documenting my trading journey. I'm not a guru, I am not an expert. I am just somebody who's trying to become the best version of themselves, and I've loved the process that I've been seeing, and like I said, I've been documenting from the very beginning, so make sure you go and check those videos out if you want to see the personal growth that I've been going through for the past few months as the year is almost coming to an end. We still got a couple months left, but man, it's been a journey, I'm not gonna lie. But before I even say anything, I want to show you guys the sponsor of this video and the sponsor of this series, which is Techtronix.com. Let's just head into their website real quick and then we'll head back and I'll talk about what happened this week. As you can see, this is Techtronix.com. If you're looking for a quality PC build with the best parts out in the market at the moment, make sure you contact them. They have free shipping and they have 1-year warranty, so make sure that you guys take advantage of that. And there was a lot of updates that ended up happening in here. So as you can see, when you head into their trading setups, they have a bunch of very friendly trading setups that range from not that expensive and actually a very good price for a PC, between $800 to about $2,500, and I think that's the perfect range. I don't think you should really spend more than that, especially if you're using it for trading or anything else such as content creation, so make sure you use that to your advantage. But the two setups that they ended up adding were the Futures setup LV Flip and the Striker Futures RX, which is basically the sponsor of this series. They created this setup specifically for this new series, so make sure you go and check it out and use my discount code LV Flip, which has been updated now. That is the live discount code. You'll get 10% off if you use that discount code, so make sure you take advantage of that. And like I said, very professional. They'll walk you through the whole process, and if you want to contact them, you could go ahead and contact them, where they'll be able to help you out and expedite the process for you. At the end of the day, if you need something very specific, they will work with you, and make sure that you get the best bang for your buck. Now let's head into the Discord. This is my trading Discord. It is free. I wasn't very active today because I was doing other stuff. My other business was taking most of my time early in the AM, so I decided to take today off. And after I talk about what happened this week, it'll make a lot more sense. Not saying that I lost a lot of money. You have to stay here to really, you have to stay till the end to really know what happened, because it was a very good week. But as you can see, we are growing. Every day that I come in here, somebody new joins, and I am extremely grateful. Everybody's pulling up, and all we do in here is just talk about trade ideas, give motivation to each other, teach anybody if they have any questions, stuff like that. And we have a couple snipers in here, I'm not gonna lie. We definitely have a bunch of nice traders in here. I think anybody who is looking for a trading Discord should hop in. I said in the last video that I'm looking for 1 to 3 people to start mentoring, and I will have it in here. I think I'm starting off with a special someone before, and that's gonna be the #1 spot, and then after that I have a couple more people, and I'm gonna document that whole process of me mentoring that person all the way up to getting funded, getting his first payout, and then even after that, just consistent payouts and trading in his own live account. Like I said, this series that I just started now is the series where I'm trying to flip 3K account up to, I think the first goal should be up to 5K. After I get it to 5K, withdraw, you know, not start back at 3K, but definitely withdraw, because you want to pay the trader first. But definitely I want to have withdrawals in this account. I don't just want to, you know, build an account just to build an account. I want to actually be able to use the money that I make in the markets. And like I said, I want to make it so that anybody could join and do this thing with me. I want to make it relatable, so that if you want to join in with $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, and even more, let's just trade and become better at trading, the skill of trading together. But like I said, join the Discord. It is fairly active, especially on trading days. We are always tapping in here. Like I said, today I didn't send anything because I was busy. I wasn't really trading today. That's my plan. Whenever I'm not trading, I'm probably not gonna be too active in it, so I hope everybody else is still active and talking. But I'll definitely pick it back up, especially this weekend. I have a lot to do this weekend, especially when it comes to trading and preparing, because like I said, you don't want to miss what I'm going to talk about later. Yeah, I think we should get into it right away. Like I said, link is down in the description, both for Techtronix.com and for my trading Discord. It is free. Make sure you join. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff ended up happening, as you can see. Let's get back into the charts. This week was, I think, more psychological than anything else for me. I would say I was correct on my daily bias. I was correct on my long-term bias. It was a bunch of either getting into trades too early, hesitating on some trades, or not holding trades all the way and missing out on some profit, or at least leaving profit on top of the table. I decided to take a step back, especially today, since it is Friday, and I called today's trade last night. I didn't send it to anybody, but I was in a call with my boy Demo, and we were talking about how price is either gonna retrace and be a TGIF trade with a good short down to either equilibrium or to the Asia lows of yesterday. And I think that was actually a very good assessment. It got up to equilibrium, so that's probably where I would have had my first first TP, and then after that just let it run and see what happened. But I was still bullish overall, so I wanted to see it get below equilibrium and then have a push up. I'll talk about it more once we get into the charts, but yeah, let's just hop into the charts. I'll talk about everything else. First and foremost, before we even start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how your trading week is going, how your trading journey overall is going, because I love to, you know, talk to people in my comments. Honestly, anytime anybody comments, I respond right away. And it's crazy because as soon as I get the notification, I'm always on my phone and I respond as soon as possible. But this is what the week looked like. As you can see, we started off with Sunday and Monday. Monday was the low of the week all the way up to Thursday high of the week. It was a very interesting week. Like I said, you could already see my drawings, but we were mostly within a range all week until Thursday. Thursday we had a big push up. Man, it was frustrating. Wednesday I exited the move too early, and then Thursday I hesitated on one move and closed one trade too early as well. I could have left it run a bit more, but hey, it's part of the game. I can't be too upset. At the end of the day, what can you really do? Yeah, we had FOMC on Wednesday. This week, I didn't record any of my live executions, mostly because price action was acting a little weird. Two, I was trying to focus, like I said, on my mental, especially from the beginning of the week. That's something that I'm going to try to really stay on top of next week for sure. Like I said, I'm going back to my basics and really understanding what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to see my stats and really try to pinpoint what I was doing wrong. And I think I figured it out. I had a call yesterday with one of my boys and we talked about, bro, he's a monster. He caught the whole monthly move, and I'm talking about from last week. We had a SMT here. He longed from here all the way up and to the previous month high. The micros didn't take it out, which I'm guessing next week we probably will end up taking it out because I'm still bullish overall. And we have this gap up here on the daily. Yeah, his model completed. He was holding it from about 2 weeks ago or last 1 week ago. When was this? September 11th was the day. Yeah, he was holding that since September 11th. All I can say is that's a crazy range. That is a crazy move, and I'm happy that he caught it. And you know, we just touched down on basis. We touched down on what really I had to fix myself, and I think I got it. I got some notes that I'm gonna look over and definitely try to study a bit more. I've been studying a lot on the psychological part because, like I said, a lot of my problems this week was psychological, just not letting my winners run, which is, you know, a problem. But I didn't lose any money. I'm pretty sure it was just a break-even week. I think last week I started with, I was down like $90 or something like that. I'm down like 80 something on the account this week. Well, I probably made a couple dollars, but at the end of the day, that's not the main goal. Is not to be at that break even. I have to try to make more bread than I have in the account, and honestly, it's not very difficult. I have very good risk management. My money management is on point. I just have to trust myself a lot more with these trades, and next week I'm gonna make it completely different. You don't want to miss out the video next week because I haven't even looked at the news, but you know, we're done with the news this week. Next week should be all right, and then the week after that starts the new month, which is gonna be crazy just because of what we were talking about last night. But like I said, this is what the week looked like. We had a low of the week Monday and then rose the rest of the week. Let's just go into the days and then we'll talk about everything else. So here we are on Monday. Yeah, Monday was just weird because it dumped and then came back up into a gap and then took off again. I don't remember exactly what I did on Monday, so let me just check over my notes to see what I wrote down. I've been taking my notes very differently recently, not in the sense of, you know, what I'm taking and what I was thinking. A lot of it has been like what I'm feeling. I'm trying to really make sure that I get my psychological parts out the way. But okay, yeah, I remember what happened on Monday now. Monday was a very good day for me. I counted as a green day. I don't think I even took a trade on Monday. Oh no, I did take a trade on Monday. I did. I think it was a W because I followed all my rules. I told myself the night before I was going to wait till the 10 a.m. open to take a trade on Monday, and that's exactly what I did. So I count that as a W. As long as I'm building good habits, that's all that I really care about. The money management part of it, I know that my losses are going to be smaller than my wins, so don't care too much. So my idea was that we come into this 4-hour gap. If I'm not mistaken, that is a 4-hour gap. So you can see right here, 4-hour gap. So I thought we would dump into that 4-hour gap and then move up. It was FOMC, so I wasn't expecting too big of a move. First thing we do as we open is we dump, completely dump, and then start to recover. At 10, I take a long, I believe after this candle comes down, and I'm up a little bit, but then it just crashes and takes me out and continues on the low side. I honestly just didn't take this setup right here because I said I was gonna wait till 10. That's basically it. I was watching this, and a lot of people in my trading Discord ended up taking this. They long this fair value gap and targeted these highs. Some of them even targeted these eco highs right here, which is a respectable trade. It's not bad at all. I'm not upset, but you know, for on Monday, that was a very good trade, and then we ended up having this one later on. So either way, as you can see, we had the low of the week on that Monday. So what we ended up doing actually was where is it? Yeah, yeah, as you can see right here, opening price for the week, and then just dumped, manipulated lower. This was the manipulation of the week, and then the manipulation within the manipulation leg to then some price higher. At the end of the day, I waited until the 10 o'clock candle to take a trade. I took a long, and I was targeting these highs right here, like I said, like in here somewhere. So I wasn't mad that I lost that day. I just took one trade and then I was done. I was like, yeah, it's probably just gonna end up chopping for the rest of the day. We have FOMC, and then that leads us to Tuesday. As you can see right here, this is Tuesday. So then we have Tuesday. As you can see, Tuesday here was a complete dump, and I took this trade right here, and I was up about $300. Then it ended up coming back on me and took me out. As you can see here, we have sweep of liquidity. We had an SMT, pretty basic sweep of liquidity. We took out the high from the news. We had news at 8:30, had an SMT there. We formed a fair value gap, inverse fair value gap at that, and then a breaker with a high low, higher high, lower low. And then I thought the breaker would hold, so I took it about right here, right before I was anticipating this to become a breaker. I took it there, and I had my stop at the SMT high, and then it came up into this inverse fair value gap and dumped, and right under was that same fair value gap from before, that 4-hour fair value gap. If I'm not mistaken, there might have been a 1-hour fair value gap there as well. Yeah, there was a 1-hour fair value gap there as well, so that's where it bounced off of, but it was lining up with this 4-hour gap and that 1-hour gap. So I did have a couple people who took that short down into that fair value gap, which was very smart, because if you think about it, it was a short move. They caught a couple points. Could have been easily a $300 trade. Like I said, I was in profit with and just didn't close. Decided to wait, came back up, took me out, and then went in my direction, which is annoying. And I'm working on actually in the sense of trying to align my time frames and seeing the manipulation within the manipulation, so that I could then end up taking better shorts and longs and not have this happen when we ended up coming up swooping, and then as you could see, just fell off a cliff into this low that I was targeting from my first trade. So we got to the Asia lows and then into the 4-hour gap even more later on in the day. But that's what happened to me. Like I said, I took a good trade. I'm not mad at this trade. Very good risk, and I was up about $300. It just ended up coming back on me, taking me out, because I was in the move too early. And I believe I got in like right here, so like 9:36, something like that. Maybe if I would have waited till 10 and caught this move down, I'm not upset. It happens. It's part of the game. This big range then gets created on Tuesday leading up to FOMC. So for FOMC, I was waiting to see what side of the range was going to be taken out first. We came down and enticed this low, generating more liquidity for us to come back down and take out after. But that's what FOMC did. It opened, came down, giving people opportunities to accumulate down here. Happened quickly, so I don't know if it's even worth doing that, but came up, took out that high right away, came back down all the way to the end, and took out both that generated liquidity from earlier on Wednesday and Tuesday, and then boomed overnight, as you could see. So I was still bullish. My target was those previous month highs, but just in that trade, I took this short right here. I took this short on the 1 minute. So this is the short that I ended up taking. As you can see, we came up, swept buy side, had a big dip, and then came back up. Once we came back up, we swept these equal highs, created a gap. I got in on that gap and then rode it down. I got out about right here in between these candles, got out too early, and then as you can see, it came up and then just dumped. So I just should have held it longer. It was about a $200-300 trade. I could have held it longer and had a $700 day. At the end of the day, what I was here for was, getting my money back from the 2 losses that I took Monday and Tuesday. That got my money back, but just holding trades like this, trusting myself more, had very good risk. It did come back up, so if I would have moved my stop to a break even, it would have stopped me out. But at the same time, I should be able to take this trade and just leave my stop loss there and let it run, see what happens. If it goes and I win, I win. If it goes up, takes me out, then I look for my next setup or wait for the next day. Not upset at all. But like I said, I should have held that setup a lot more or a lot longer. Maybe got out once it started to come back up over here, but as you can see, ended up smacking that low either way. Thursday, man, it was frustrating for me. We have this big overnight session, as you can see. So we coming into the market and I messed up, and it was my fault, and I want you guys to learn from this. It wasn't like I messed up too badly, but I was trading off a pattern instead of context. And I'm telling you this right now, trading is nothing without context. If you don't know why something should happen and why we should react off a certain level, the patterns don't matter. Whatever confluences you use to get into the market don't matter if you have context wrong. So that is something that I'm trying very hard to focus on, is just context. Man, when I tell you that I was very frustrated at the fact that I seen this and still took the wrong trade. This was after I was back testing. Obviously, this is the trade that I should have took. I didn't take this. I thought we were gonna end up going lower, but that doesn't make sense because like I said earlier, so we have this 1 hour gap right here. It's still a 4 hour gap at the end of the day, and I marked out that 4 hour gap, but it also had that 1 hour gap in there. So I'm thinking maybe we dig a little bit deeper into the gap, but that doesn't make sense because we were still bullish, and I knew for a fact that we would come down into this gap and then push price higher because it was aligning the lower time frame with the higher time frame. The monthly, the weekly, the daily, everything was bullish. So I should have been looking for a long on this day. Yeah, I could have took the short, and a couple people took that turtle soup in the Discord down to that fair value gap as their target. That is a very good trade, honestly, because if I took the soup right here, had my stop above the high and targeted the top of that fair value gap, that's an AR. That's a good ass trade to me if you took it at the top of that soup. But yeah, I saw the high, low, higher high, or high, low, higher high, lower low, and saw this as a breaker, but it should have been invalidated the second that we touched a higher time frame point of interest, inverse this fair value gap, and then keep going higher, creating our own fair value gap right here. So, you know, it was my fault and I saw it too late, and I did take this trade. I entered about like right here after I saw this came back down into this 1 minute inverse and respected it. I was like, dang, I should enter, and I entered like right here with my stop at that recent low, and then I got out like above this high once we got up above this high, but I should have held it all the way up to the buy side liquidity. But like I said, that's my fault. I was just trying to trade off a pattern. I saw that we took this, and I should have took this turtle soup, honestly, or this short right here. Took this short down to here and then looked for another opportunity after we got out of here. Like I said, it's aligning the lower time frames with the higher time frames, and then the crazier part is that then I take the manipulation of this and project it higher, and lo and behold, the -2 and the -2.5 to the tick got in between it and reverse. And then I got even more set with myself because I saw we swept liquidity, and I saw this, right? So this is while this is printing. After I seen that, I grabbed my fib, right? I grabbed my graded range, and I said we're probably going to, if we go back within the range, drop to equilibrium and then keep moving up. What happens? We form a fair value gap, which would have been a great entry. I just hesitated on it, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. I hesitated on this fair value gap so bad. Hesitated on it and seen it come down. This was about a $300 trade with 2 contracts, risking like $80, something like that, man. I should have just took it at the end of the day. I didn't, and that is my fault. Hesitated. But then I go on the 5 minute and I see the breaker. Then we end up forming this breaker and tap breaker and just boom, which created the high of the week. This move was probably better than this one, but this move was perfect. I should have took this trade right here, especially after seeing how the 5 minute closed, still respecting this 1 minute right here, and then we touched that higher time frame point of interest. I should have took all 3 of these trades. Now I'm guessing I should have just took this one. Honestly, I would have been happy and conformed with this, especially as we hit my target to the tick. And now it says a unicorn too, because look, there's a gap right here, and then I think it hit the gap. Yep, it did hit the gap, so that's a unicorn in itself. Should have took that one if I wasn't confident in this long, but I was already out of the market. I was like, you know, I'm not even gonna watch this after that happened, especially after the short. Let's just talk about what ended up happening, because I want people to really understand what I'm trying to say when I say aligning the lower time frames with the higher time frame. And as you can see, like I said before, we open up at 9, right? The market moves up, soups that buy side liquidity on the 1 minute, which created a very good soup opportunity down into the point of interest, which was the 1 hour gap, which was also within a 4 hour gap. So that is even more confluence. And if you were already bullish, this long was what you should have been looking for on this day. It was a very clean setup, man. As you can see, we soup sell side liquidity, we soup all these lows right here, come down, tap into the 1 hour gap, also a 4 hour gap, and then start to move up. We disrespect this imbalance, which now becomes an inverse fair value gap. As you can see, respecting it very well, pushes up higher and then taps into it one more time, giving one more entry for anybody who's really paying attention, and then took off. I took the manipulation leg, hit the -2 and the -2.5 to the tick. After that, reverse into the range and then into equilibrium, like I said earlier, which was what I was targeting. So extremely accurate. And the breaker, we had a unicorn there on the 5 minute. I just have to, like I said, trust myself and let my trades play out. And then today I didn't trade, but I was bearish, especially here. I believe we had an SMT. This is what my idea was. I was thinking we come back within the range and either touch 50% of the fib, since I'm still bullish and think that we will end up up taking that previous month high. We'll probably end up taking it next week. We'll just have to see how it goes, how the week opens at least. But as you can see here, 50% of the fib, and then that's when we reject. But we had a SMT at the open, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just open up. This is the SMT. This was a very clean soup. This is probably what I would have took if I was trading today, but like I said, I wasn't trading today at all. So as you can see, first and foremost, we have SMT, which is very important, especially if you have a certain bias. Last night I was thinking about a TGIF rider, which means when we have a long range, we just come back into the range. So we ended up having this big range and come back into equilibrium of that range, and that is exactly where I would have been targeting. Honestly, I'm not gonna say anything else. We came soup this high. Let me go into the lower time frames because it will be a lot easier. But as you can see, we came into this, we end up souping this high, so liquidity's taken there, and then we end up dumping. I probably, honestly, with the bias that I had in the conversation I had last night, I probably would have souped that and then had my stop or like buff that, and then just targeted the 50% of the fib. 50% of fib was a 13R crazy trade idea. Like I said, I was busy today, so I didn't take this trade. That is the trade idea I had last night, and it ended up playing out. I said I was just gonna back test today and just tape watch. That is literally what I should have done. After that, it came up and rose back up to the open, which is pretty self-explanatory. We'll just have to see what happens next week. But I had a good week. I didn't have any catastrophic moves where I lost a bunch of money or anything like that. I managed my risk very well. I had very good trade ideas. I just didn't trust them too much. That's something that I'm working on, just my psychology. People underestimate the psychological aspect of trading, and they just focus on, you know, entry models and trying to have the direction right. But when those candles are moving up and down, and it's your own money, and when that candle's moving up and down and it's your money, it could definitely get to you sometimes, and that's kind of what it did to me. So at the end of the day, I'm not upset. I had a very decent week in terms of just habits. I am building very good habits. That is all I'm focused on. I know the money is gonna end up flowing as long as I keep my habits very well and have good risk management. I am not a trader. I'm just an observer. I'm trying to see what the market is telling me that it's going to do, and then just try to take it. And then, like I said, just try to trust my setups a bit more. Let's just see how next week ends up happening, man. Thank you so much for watching this video. Join the Discord. Link is down in the description. Like I said, we're growing very well. Make sure you check out Techtronix.com. Let me know how your trading week went, and if you like this series. I apologize once again for not recording my live executions. If I have any that I did record, I'll definitely throw them in here. Next week, I'm going to do a lot better on trying to keep that promise alive, if that makes sense. But this has been the end of the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.